Hi YouTube, it's Kia of Kia Comments, and I'm back with my July reading wrap-up. I really enjoyed July. I read a ton of books and I'm sad to see it go. I'm a teacher and August means that the school year is starting, and for those students who think that teachers don't enjoy the summer as much, if not more than you do, I don't know what you heard. We love the summer. We love not having to teach you. We love you. But we're not sad to see you go. When May comes around and we don't have to lesson plan or lecture anymore. Anyway, girl, get back to the point. One of the first novels, or actually collection of short stories that I read, is by Mia Alvar. It is in the back to my right, and it is called In the Country. These stories follow the Filipino diaspora as they traverse the landscape of the world. We are in the Middle East, we're in Southeast Asia, we're in North America. This author takes us everywhere. I have mixed feelings about this collection. I felt lukewarm about some stories and I really enjoyed others, and there was one that I loved. My favorite stories is one where we follow a group of upper class Filipino women who throw parties for working class Filipino women. It's interesting to watch these two classes locate and navigate each other in a foreign country. They're in the Middle East, and it's also interesting to see how these different classes of women from the same country lean on each other as reminders of home. If you are a reader who likes the voice of writers who deal with diasporas, be it from the Caribbean or Latin America or Eastern Europe, this is a collection that you want to check out. I'm going to discuss two books next by Chinese writer Yin Lee. The first is her collection of short stories, 1,000 Years of Good Prayers, behind me to my left, and the second is her collection of short stories, Gold Boy and Emerald Girl, and that's behind me to my right. These books both cover the same topics that deal with themes of how the country of China is dealing with adjusting to being a capital country when they were previously a communist country. It looks at the small inner workings of people's lives in ways that are devastating. My favorite story in the collection, 1,000 Years of Good Prayers, was the first story. It's called Extra. And my favorite story in Gold Boy, Emerald Girl is also the opening story called Kindness. It's 80 pages long, and it is a novella, really, and very beautiful. The characters and the sadness and just getting to know what is going on with the individuals in Ian Lee's books is kind of like the opening of a flower. I've never seen a flower open. Who has time to watch that? But I feel as though it's like a delicate moving thing. And I think that the characters in Ian Lee's books are delicate and moving. Therefore, to me, that comparison makes sense. The next book on my list is by Angela Flournoy. Lady, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I really do. I hate bastardizing people's names. I'm sorry. The Turner House. It is behind me to my right. And this was a really compelling book. It was quite an education for me. I always like books that teach me something about a set of people or a history of a people that I'm not familiar with, and The Turner House most decidedly did that. We follow a family of 13 children as their mother decides that she is going to leave their house in a derelict area in Detroit. We mostly follow the perspectives of the oldest child, Cha-Cha, the son who the mother moves in with, and the youngest child, Leela, who has a gambling addiction. As we follow these perspectives, we learn so much about the family, so much about Blacks in Detroit, and so much about the ways in which families keep secrets. If you liked the 12 Tribes of Hattie, it's likely that you'll like The Turner House. Also, if you liked Ann Tyler's A Spool of Blue Thread, you will like this book. The next book I read is The Last Kings of Sark by Rosa Rankin Gee. I found this book really interesting, and I use that word in the true sense. I find that people who I talk to lately say interesting when they mean that they don't like something, or when they actually are trying to be ironic and they mean that it's not interesting. And I don't want anybody to get it twisted. This book was really interesting because I tend not to read about the rich, and this book is very much steeped in a rich family. We follow three main characters: Jude, a tutor; Pip, a very rich 16-year-old boy; and Sophie, a helper in Pip's household, as they spend 3 weeks in the summer together. I was really informed of the silent gaps that can happen in the home of the wealthy. This, I feel, was done in a really articulate way by the author of the book. It's not gratuitous, and it's not self-proclaiming in any way. It's actually kind of a slow burn, this novel, and I recommend it for anybody who likes the works of Jane Smiley or anybody who likes the works of Amy Bloom. The next book I read was A Pure Delight. It is debut novel The Star Side of Bird Hill by Caribbean writer Naomi Jackson. I'm not going to go too deeply into what this novel is about or how I felt about it, because I recently did a review on it, and you can see the link to that review in the description box below. We follow two sisters, Phaedra and Dion, as they spend the summer with their grandmother Hyacinth in Barbados. The heart of this particular novel for me is the coming of age of all three females in this book. A really enjoyable read if you like the way that families come together and support each other, then this book is for you. The final book in this wrap-up was also my favorite book of the month. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I love this book. And I love it for several reasons. I'm going to come clean and let y'all know. I know the writer. I know the writer of Let Me Explain You. I know Annie Leontes. But if any of you have a friend, and everybody should have a friend like this, who is good at what they do, is somebody, when you promote them, they actually back up what you promote by doing it better, then you will know why I sing this book's praises. I discussed this book initially in my 2015 most anticipated books of the year, and I am discussing it again, and I will also do a review. Basically, this book follows patriarch Stavros Mavrakis. He contacts the important women in his life, his 3 daughters and his 2 ex-wives, to let them know that he has 10 days to live, and the book goes from there. The language in this book is so beautiful. I find that Annie can turn a phrase and use metaphor in the way that poets do. And this book, in some parts, really is poetry. Please, if you have not read this book, if it's not on your reading list, go ahead and contact your local library, because, you know, some of y'all just don't want to buy it. Make your library buy it. That's why we pay taxes in this country. Contact your local library and say, can you get this book in so I could read it? Go to Barnes & Noble, get yourself some tea, sit down and read the first chapter and realize why you should buy this book. Love this book. That is it. That is all. If there are any books that you think that I should be reading and doing a wrap-up on or doing a review on, please let me know in the comments below. Thumbs up this video if you liked it. Keep reading, keep writing, keep reviewing. Bye now.